Hello, Dark Reader, and welcome to the Dark Side of the Library podcast. I'm your host, Katie, and with me is my creepy co-host, Carrie.
Hello! Happy
Yay!
spooky season.
Yes, it is still spooky season, believe it or not, because it's still dark, right? I guess it's spooky season all the time here. So today we're going to be going through some non-fiction new book releases coming out in November of 2022. I'm really excited because we actually have quite a different array of books. So I think you are first today with your first non-fiction book.
Yes, my first book is Cult of the Dead, A Brief History of Christianity. It's by Kyle Smith, comes out November 8th. And it's not the darkest book in the world, but as we know, lots and lots of dark, horrible things happened throughout Christianity, and they were putting down the pagans and getting rid of the pagan vestiges of temples and all this horrible stuff. So I thought it would be interesting to learn more about that. The book is described as a cultural history of how Christianity was born from its martyrs. Though it promises eternal life, Christianity was forged in death. It's built upon the legacies of the apostles and martyrs who chose to die rather than renounce the name of their Lord.
Whoa.
And so a devotion to death has shaped Christianity for 2,000 years. So this is starting to sound like a sympathetic religion book about, oh, these martyrs were so great. Normally, histories of Christianity that are kind of on the dark side are blaming the Catholics for taking everything over.
Yes.
So this says that martyrs' bones are still in the world. Their shrines are still visited by pilgrims, many who are in search of a miracle. Martyrs have shaped the Christian conception of time because each day of the year celebrates the death of a saint. I think they should celebrate the birth of a saint, but anyway.
Interesting.
They start off in Roman antiquity, they stop by medieval England and the Protestant Reformation, and then come to the present day. The Cult of the Dead tells the fascinating story of how the world's most widespread religion is steeped in the memory of its martyrs. It's by Kyle Smith, University of California Press, and it comes out November 8th.
Interesting. Well, my next book is the opposite. It's How to Study Magic. A Guide to History, Lore, and Building Your Own Practice. This is by Sarah Lyons, and it comes out November 15th. The cover is absolutely stunning. I love it. It is beautiful, and I'll make sure to have this up on our YouTube channel. And speaking of that, make sure to stop by our YouTube channel and our Amazon Live channel if you do get time. And if there are any books of interest to you when we go through this whole list of awesome nonfiction, make sure to check out our show notes on darksideofthelibrary.com. All right, so here is How to Study Magic. It is an insider's guide for beginner mystics. I like that. I've never actually done this myself, or like actually studying magic, so I might have to pick this up. So here's what the publisher has to say. Have you ever wanted to dive into the world of magic, but weren't sure where to begin? Yes. Who even knows how to begin this study? That's crazy. So knowing where to start can be mystifying, but it doesn't have to be. In this book, Sarah Lyons guides you through an introductory course of study and an enchanted entry point to the wide world of magical paths. Drawing on Sarah's own experience, practicing and teaching magic for more than a decade, this interactive exploration takes novice witches through basic tools they can use in their studies. So here are some examples: divination, to meditation, cleansing, protection, spell books, grimoires, learning about gods and goddesses, etc. Oh, and chaos magic. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of cool, interesting things in here, and I'm really pumped about it. Each chapter also contains other activities like journal prompts and suggestions for further reading, which I think is really helpful. There's just so many places to look at witchcraft and magic, and I know that I've personally been incredibly overwhelmed. There's so many authors out there and books, and it's like, where do I begin?
It is hard to know where to start. Wow.
Yeah, so this is really cool. I'm going to just peek on the inside what Amazon has provided us. It does have beautiful illustrations alongside with your activities and journal prompts. Some examples of journal prompts are, what does the word quote witch mean to me? What feelings, images, and emotions come up for me when I call myself that word? Interesting. There's also activities in here like full moon scrying, stuff like that. So it's really cool. This is called How to Study Magic. This is by Sarah Lyons.
My next book I have already pre-ordered. It is The End is at Hand.
Ooh.
It's by Darrel Perkins. It doesn't come out till December 13. It got pushed back.
No.
It's about the apocalypse. It's a collection of short essays about how people throughout history believed that the world could end. The book explores how it's all ended before, when we mistakenly thought it would end again. Remember in the 1850s, not that we were alive then, but remember reading about how in the 1850s there were all these Christian religions in America that thought the world was going to end, and they sold everything and they stood on a mountaintop on a certain date, and then when the world didn't end, they were like, oh crap, and they had to go home and start farming again. And
yay, Miller riots. Yes.
This book is organized chronologically and begins with prehistoric extinctions and extends into the distant future when the universe may or may not collapse. Nothing lasts forever, including the worlds we inhabit, human society, our planet, or the entire universe.
Oh my.
So this is cataclysmic tales talking about how the world might end. There's also linocut illustrations to evoke impending doom. And it's a collection of short essays about how people throughout history thought the world could end.
That will be interesting.
That's The End is at Hand by Darrel Perkins. And if you need something cheerful to read in the evening this winter, this is not it.
I was going to say, I'm actually curious what apocalypse or what would you call them? What are
dystopian?
Yeah, like people today, you know, who think the world is ending right now, how that's going to look in 30 plus years.
Yeah.
So my next book is actually a cookbook, so I'm going to quickly go through it because a lot of this is going to be visual. So this is the Feast of the Dragon cookbook. Yes, it is a House of Dragon and Game of Thrones cookbook.
Hint, Christmas is coming up, Katie. You know my shipping address. Merry Christmas.
I do. And it's going to be super cool. It comes out November 22nd. There are 60 recipes, 60 recipes inspired by Westeros. So there is Arya's pilfered tartlets. There's Taroshi's pear brandy. Some of these I have been rewatching Game of Thrones, and I'm like trying to remember what all of these are. There's honey cake, which I do remember. There's House Lannister golden roast and blood red wedding cake.
Oh, of course there is.
Yes. Let me look at the inside at the pictures. These are really fun. Some of these, you know, like a lot of cookbooks that are pop references, are basically just really fun names for pretty standard staple recipes. Like there's Benjen Stark's elk meatballs. Those are pretty much like standard meatballs, but I do like Benjen Stark being associated with them. There's direwolf bread in here, which is really fun. The photos are gorgeous, especially the blood red wedding cake, which is just oozing blood. It's fantastic. So it is called Feast of the Dragon Cookbook. This would make a great Christmas gift. This is by Tom Grimm.
My next book is Godzilla, the Ultimate Illustrated Guide. I love monster movies, and the author is Toho Company Limited, and the other author is Graham Skipper. So Godzilla is known as the king of the monsters, one of the most famous creatures the cinema has ever known. Godzilla, the Ultimate Illustrated Guide, unites fascinating information and stunning imagery from more than 60 years of movie mayhem to show off the Earth's most enduring monster as never before. It's an illustrated reference guide to all things Godzilla, from the early days in black and white in Japan to the biggest blockbusters of the 21st century. Facts and figures, actors and locations, co-starring monsters, my favorite is Mothra, and plenty of superb illustrated material. You know, why do I do a Harry Potter rewatch, a Lord of the Rings rewatch after Christmas? I could be doing a Godzilla rewatch.
Yeah, That should be a family tradition, I think.
Yes, this is Godzilla, the Ultimate Illustrated Guide, and it comes out November 8th.
My next book is a not an autobiography, it's a biography. It is Lady Gaga. Applause. This is by Annie Zaleski, and it comes out November 1st. I love Lady Gaga. I don't know if you knew that, but I do, and I just love everything about her. Her
I
acting
did not
and her
know
music.
that.
I really love her. So I'm really excited about this book. She is one of the world's best-selling musicians, as most of us know, and she has made a lot of strides in the musical industry. Since her debut album, The Fame, in 2008, she won more than 124 million. She sold more than 124 million records.
Thought you were going to say she won 124 million awards. I'm like, she deserved them.
I know. I was like, I wish she did.
Tell me where the darkness comes into this. Is it because she was in American Horror Story?
She is a huge, yes, she's obviously in American Horror Story. She's amazing. I think she's influenced a lot of gothic, punk, and just darker fashion trends as well. And her music is also very highly feminist and very controversial, especially like her earlier stuff. She's done a lot more mainstream music lately. I think she's starting to go back into her more controversial things, and she's a huge advocate for LGBTQ plus rights. So she's just awesome. I think she's just somebody that's amazing, and I really like her, and I think I slipped her into our dark nonfiction because I do think she has a place here. So if you're interested in her life and her fame and all of the things that she has done for our world, I would say, for us as a nation in the pop industry, check out Lady Gaga. Applause. This is by Annie Zaleski.
My next book is much, much anticipated in the pagan and Wiccan scenes. It is The Mexican Witch Lifestyle.
Yes.
Brujeria Spells, Tarot, and Crystal Magic by Valeria Ruelas.
Ooh.
A modern Mexican bruja is a powerful person, one who reads the tarot and performs spell work and rituals of devotion to their spirit guides and deities. Brujeria, which translates as witchcraft in Spanish, is a unique form of spirituality, and it blends core elements of Afro-Indigenous beliefs. It originated in Mexico, but it's now practiced in Latinx communities across the world. And Valeria was raised living every aspect of the brujeria lifestyle. She shopped at botanicas and yerberias. She cast spells, interpreted tarot readings, and today she's become one of the foremost practitioners of brujeria in the U.S. As part of her daily practice, she seeks to bring the intense wisdom, harmony, always important, and spirituality that comes with living this lifestyle to her followers. So within these pages, it's an expert's introductory handbook, including respectfully shopping at a yerberia or botanica, a complete guide to common crystals, essentials for your altar, but I want to butt in and remind people that you can't buy your way into witchcraft.
Yes.
It's okay to not just shop and have accessories. An introduction to tarot and spells to bring luck, love, and good fortune. Yes, please. And also there will be a chapter on the secrets of Santa Muerte.
Yay!
Yes.
Cool.
So that is the Mexican Witch Lifestyle, Brujeria Spells, Tarot, and Crystal Magic, and it comes out November 29.
This next book is something that resonates with me, actually. It's called Night Terrors, Troubled Sleep and the Stories We Tell About It. It's by Alice Vernon, and it comes out November 15th. I have a problem with sleep paralysis. Often, it's been getting more and more prevalent as I get older for some reason, but at least I know what is happening, so that helps. So this is a history of dreaming and the darkest parts of our sleeping lives. So Alice Vernon also has always slept strangely, from episodes of sleepwalking to hallucinations of sinister figures in her bedroom. Her nights are often eventful and sometimes frightening, and she is not the only person. Drawing on scientific, historical, and literary sources, as well as her own experiences, sleep historian, that's a cool career, Alice Vernon explores the history of our relationship with bad dreams, how we've tried to make sense of and treat them, from some decidedly strange, quote, cures like peacock's dung and magical mare stones, to research on how video games might help people rewrite their dreams. Along the way, we explore the Salem witch trials and sleep paralysis, Victorian ghost stories, and soldiers' experiences of PTSD. Parasomnias are not as uncommon as we think, but we don't talk about them enough. So I'm excited. I think both my sister and I have problems sleeping. I think hers are different than mine because she used to say she would see ghosts all the time, but I know for a fact that she also used to sleep talk and kind of sleep walk a little bit as a kid. So I'm wondering if there's some similarities with both of us. We just, display night terrors a little differently. So
I remember her sleepwalking a little bit when she spent the night, when you guys spent the night at my house when you were younger.
Yeah.
I just kind of steered her back to bed.
Yep, exactly. And she used to talk in her sleep all the time. And I definitely get sleep paralysis, and I'm pretty good at, I'm trying to remember what it is, lucid dreaming. I'm pretty good at lucid dreaming.
Well, that's because you're an artist and your sister loves to talk. So that explains a lot right there.
Yeah, right? So this book sounds really fascinating. This is called Night Terrors by Alice Vernon.
My next book is The Ruin of All Witches, Life and Death in the New World by Malcolm Gaskill. It is fiction.
Oh, no!
I think. Oh, maybe not. I'm not sure if it's fiction or nonfiction. Okay, let me just read what it says and we'll decide. In Springfield, Massachusetts in 1651, peculiar things begin to happen. Precious food spoils, livestock gets sick, property vanishes. Oh, like items, not like land. Okay. And people suffer convulsions as if they're possessed by demons. A woman is seen wading through the swamp like a lost soul. Disturbing dreams and visions proliferate. Children sicken and die. As tensions rise, rumors spread of witches and heretics, and the community becomes tangled in a web of distrust, resentment, and denunciation. Notice that this is Springfield, Massachusetts, not Salem.
Yeah.
The finger of suspicion soon falls on a young couple with 2 small children, the prickly brickmaker, Hugh Parsons, and his troubled wife, Mary. So drawing on rich, previously unexplored source material, Malcolm Gaskill vividly evokes a strange past, one where lives were steeped in the divine and the diabolic, in omens, curses, and enchantments. The Ruin of All Witches captures an entire society caught in agonized transition between superstition and enlightenment, tradition and innovation. And this is back before they had any indoor plumbing or any innovation.
Right.
I guess it's nonfiction.
Yeah. Interesting.
History Book of the Year, says the Sunday Times. All right, I apologize. I started freaking out thinking it was fiction. Well, now I'm intrigued.
It's so weird that it felt like fiction, but it was a nonfiction. That's creepy, actually.
Katie's the one who edits our podcast, and she wants to kill me right now, but you can leave this in. You don't have to edit out my goof up. What's your next book?
Well, I wanted to just slip this one in here, too. It is the Unofficial Witcher Cookbook. The Witcher is quite a dark fantasy show and video game series and book series. So, taking from all of these resources, our author, Trey Gullery, has created some Witcher recipes. There are 50, and they range from humble meals to tavern stews to bountiful feasts fit for a king and some awesome drink. So, for instance, we have honey cakes for a coin, house specialty soup, feast of ham and nightshade, blacksmith dumplings, and the photos in here are pretty good. And there's a whole array of different cool recipes that are really beautiful. Like the chocolate goddess cake has edible flowers on it, and it's just stunning. There's haunted honeycomb, which is really, really cool. Making your own honeycomb, awesome. So if you're a Witcher fan or you know somebody who is, check this out. It's the Unofficial Witcher Cookbook.
Well, I have a cookbook up next too.
Ooh.
It is the Unofficial Stranger Things Cookbook. It's by Tom Grimm. Great last name for this.
Right.
It comes out November 22. Eat your way out of the upside down with his cookbook inspired by the world of Stranger Things. From comfort food straight from Mrs. Wheeler's table to fast food from the Starcourt Mall food court, this cookbook features all kinds of recipes that would fit right into both dimensions of 1980s Hawkins, Indiana. Open a portal to Hawkins, Indiana with this totally rad cookbook inspired by food Mike, Lucas, Dustin, Max, Will, and Eleven would have eaten in 1980s Indiana. Like a ravenous demogorgon, you can eat and drink your way out of the upside down, from breakfast to happy hour, consuming hearty family dinners from the Wheelers family kitchen, or cheap eats made by Jim Hopper himself. So some of the recipes are Dr. Alexi's favorite slushy, Demogorgonzola, Stranger Wings, Upside Down Burger, and more. That is pretty cute. I like their sense of humor. I think I'm going to have to buy it. It's the Unofficial Stranger Things cookbook by Tom Grimm.
Oh, that's hilarious. I hope there's a whole chapter of waffles in there. My next book is called Plant Magic, The Library of Esoterica. This comes out November 28th. This is by Jessica Hundley. This is a beautiful book featuring art, specifically from around the world, different parts of the world, and it kind of talks about spirituality, magic, mythology, all associated with plant magic. So this explores how centuries of artists have given form to mysticism, translating the arcane and the obscure into enduring, visionary works of art. Each subject is showcased through both modern and archival imagery culled from private collectors, libraries, and museums around the globe. It is really, really pretty. If you are a artist or anybody who enjoys plant magic or the arcane nature, any of that stuff from all around the world, this is a beautiful study. It gives you a visual and a cultural reference too, so a different lens for each thing. So check this out. This is Plant Magic, The Library of Esoterica by Jessica Hundley. That wraps up our massive list of nonfiction books coming out in November 2022. Again, make sure to check out our show notes on darksideofthelibrary.com if there are any cool books that are of interest to you. Make sure to join our socials too at Dark Side of the Library and our Amazon Live channel. It would really help us out if you guys would share this podcast with your creepy friends and family, anybody who you know that might enjoy dark, creepy books. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a creep-tastic rest of your week.